Welcome to Fragile Bonds, to the powerful stories of family, love, loss, and the choices that shape our lives. Now let's begin today's story.
Morning light streamed into the kitchen, and the sound of the coffee maker echoed through the quiet house. I leaned on the counter, staring at my computer screen. Since my graphic design work could be done from home, I was grateful to spend mornings with my family like this. Rachel, I made scrambled eggs. Michael set a plate in front of me. Despite his busy schedule as an architect, he always made breakfast. It was our unspoken rule. Thanks. Is Emma still upstairs? She's getting dressed. Says she's busy with a school project. Emma was my stepdaughter. 3 years into my marriage with Michael, I felt I'd become as close as a real mother and daughter with the 12-year-old. I'd braced myself for difficulties at first, but Emma was a sweet girl who accepted me. Morning, Mom. Emma came down the stairs with her backpack, calling out, Mom. Every time I heard that word, warmth spread through my chest. We weren't connected by blood, but I was her mother. Morning, Emma. Do you have basketball practice today? Yeah. But it's supposed to end early today. Emma sat down and poked at her pancakes with a fork. She seemed to have less appetite than usual. Maybe it was the beginning of adolescence. Days like this happened. Michael poured orange juice into Emma's glass and gently stroked her hair. He was truly a good father. We didn't talk much about Emma's biological mother between us. According to Michael, contact had stopped shortly after the divorce. It happened when Emma was little, so she barely had any memories of her, he said. I had my own past regarding family that I didn't want to touch. Over 15 years ago, my sister Claire had left home. At the time, she was unmarried and pregnant. Our parents were furious, and my sister fled. Since then, there'd been no contact. No Christmas cards, no birthday messages. As if she'd vanished. Rachel, are you listening? Michael's voice brought me back. Sorry, I was spacing out. I said I might be late tonight. Got a client meeting. Okay. I'll make something simple for dinner. Emma checked the clock and stood up. I gotta go. Dad, can you drive me? Of course. Let's go. The two headed for the entrance. I stood to see them off as usual. Have a good day. See you later. The sound of the door closing. The car engine starting. Then silence. I took my coffee cup and stood by the living room window. I watched until Michael's car turned the corner and disappeared from view. This was our morning routine. In the afternoon, I went outside to take out the trash during a work break. Mrs. Johnson next door was tending her garden and waved when she noticed me. Hello, Rachel. Hello, Mrs. Johnson. I placed the trash can by the curb and walked over to her. Mrs. Johnson was past 70 but very energetic, known as the neighborhood's information hub. I've been seeing them quite often lately. Seeing what? Michael and Emma going out together in the car during weekday afternoons. Last week too, and the week before. I tried to keep smiling. Really? Michael should be busy with work. That's right. But I definitely saw them. Tuesday, I think. Around 2 in the afternoon. Tuesday. Emma should have been in school. Michael should have been at work. They must have had some errand. I answered as naturally as I could, but my heart beat a little faster. Right. But I've seen them about 3 times recently. Maybe this old lady's mistaken. Mrs. Johnson shrugged and returned to her gardening. I went back inside and closed the door. The living room clock ticked quietly. Michael and Emma. Weekday afternoons. Times when school should be in session. It must be some mistake. Mrs. Johnson was elderly, maybe she'd been mistaken. But 3 times? And she'd said Tuesday. Last Tuesday, I'd definitely been busy with an online meeting. I hadn't left the house. I sat at my computer, but couldn't concentrate on work. While staring at the screen, various possibilities swirled in my mind. But I didn't want to doubt my husband. Didn't want to doubt Emma either. We were family, after all. When Michael came home that evening, I didn't ask anything. When Emma returned from basketball practice, I treated her normally. As I made dinner, I told myself it was nothing. Something trivial. Doubting family was ridiculous. But that night, even after getting into bed, I couldn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling, looking at Michael's profile as he breathed softly beside me. Mrs. Johnson's words wouldn't leave my ears. The next morning, I woke to the usual sound of Michael making breakfast in the kitchen. But I couldn't get out of bed. Mrs. Johnson's words kept replaying in my mind. Weekday afternoons. 3 times. Michael and Emma together. Rachel, are you okay? You look pale. Michael placed his hand on my forehead, worried. Just a little sleep deprived. I'm fine. I forced a smile. But my face in the mirror was indeed pale. During breakfast, I observed Emma. Nothing different from usual. She ate her pancakes, talked about homework, mentioned friends. Nothing that looked like she was hiding anything. Michael was the same as always. Reading the newspaper, occasionally talking to Emma. But my heart wouldn't settle. Emma, anything going on at school today? Not really. Just a math test. I see. Good luck. Thanks, Mom. After the two left, I sat at my computer. Several emails from clients had arrived. But I couldn't bring myself to open any of them. I stood up and headed to Michael's study. Guilt gripped my chest. Searching through my husband's privacy. But my feet moved on their own. Architectural blueprints were spread on the desk. The calendar was filled with work schedules. I opened the drawer, stationery and business documents. Nothing unusual. I went to the garage and looked at Michael's car. Opened the glove compartment in the passenger seat. Maps, car documents, sunglasses. Then I checked the navigation system's history. St. Mary's Street, Elmwood District. An address I didn't recognize. And the same place, multiple times. Looking at the dates, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Weekday afternoons. I got out of the car and took a deep breath. This must be some mistake. Obviously a work-related location. But why with Emma? During school hours. That afternoon, I visited Mrs. Johnson's house. Rachel, what's wrong? Would you like some tea? Thank you. Actually, about what you mentioned yesterday. We sat at the kitchen table. Mrs. Johnson carefully poured tea. Could you tell me more details about seeing Michael and Emma? Mrs. Johnson frowned. Did I worry you? But I really did see them. Last Tuesday, definitely around 2 in the afternoon. I saw Michael's car leaving. Emma was with him too. Sitting in the passenger seat. Do you know which direction? They headed toward Main Street. I saw them the week before too, and several times before that. I took a sip of tea. My hands were shaking. Thank you, Mrs. Johnson. I'm sure they had some errand. Right. But I thought it was strange during school hours. Maybe I was being nosy. No, I'm glad you told me. When I got home, it was past 3. Time for Emma to return from basketball practice. I sat on the living room sofa and waited for her. The sound of the door opening. I'm home. Emma came in with a smile. Her sweaty face really did look like she'd just returned from practice. Welcome back, Emma. How was practice? Good. Coach taught us a new play. Nice. How was school today? The math test. Emma's expression clouded for just a moment. Just a split second. Oh, yeah. I think I did okay. Good. I kept my smile. But inside, small doubts were growing larger. That evening, Michael came home late as promised. I'd already finished dinner and put Emma to bed. Sorry I'm late. It's fine. Are you hungry? A little. But I'm tired, so something light is fine. I observed him as I made a sandwich. Nothing different from usual. He looked tired, but it seemed work-related. He didn't look like he was hiding anything. You seem busy lately. Yeah, a big project's getting underway. Should settle down a bit next month. I see. Don't push yourself too hard. Michael kissed my cheek. I'm lucky to have you, Rachel. Those gentle words only made my heart ache more. The next morning, I made a decision. I had to know the truth. I couldn't bear to keep doubting like this. I have a client meeting this morning. I'll be back after noon. I lied to Michael and Emma. Guilt stabbed at my chest. Okay. Drive safe. After seeing them off, I drove 2 blocks away and parked. From there, I walked back home and hid behind the garage. 10 a.m. Michael should still be at home. He'd said it was a work-from-home day. 11 a.m. No sounds from inside the house. Near noon, I heard the garage door opening. My heart began pounding hard. Before Michael's car could move, I made my decision. I quickly entered the garage and slipped into Michael's trunk. A cramped, dark space. I couldn't believe I was doing this. But I couldn't turn back. The trunk lid closed. Complete darkness. My breathing became rough. Calm down, Rachel. Calm down. The sound of the car door opening. Michael's footsteps. Emma, you ready? My heart nearly stopped. Emma. Now. During school hours. Yeah, Dad. I heard Emma's small voice. More subdued than usual. The engine started. The car began moving. My body swayed inside the trunk. I desperately tried not to make any noise, holding my body still. You okay? Feeling all right? Michael's gentle voice. I'm fine. Just a little nervous. I understand. But you'll see her again today. She's been looking forward to it. See who? Various possibilities swirled in my mind. A secret child. Or a mistress. But Emma's with him. Dad, you really won't tell Mom, right? Promise. Emma's voice was shaking. I know. But soon, we might have to tell her. We can't keep hiding this forever. Michael's voice was heavy too. Tears welled up in my eyes. In the darkness, I bit my lip. They were hiding something from me. That was an undeniable fact. The car continued for about 30 minutes. Eventually it slowed and stopped. The engine cut off. We're here. Let's go. Doors opened and closed. Their footsteps faded away. I waited a few minutes before searching for the trunk lever. There should be a mechanism to open it from inside. I found it by feel and pulled gently. The trunk opened slightly. Light streamed in. I carefully checked outside and crawled out of the car. The moment I saw the scene before me, I froze in place. A large building. White walls. Above the entrance, written in large letters. St. Mary's Hospital, Oncology Department. A hospital. The Cancer Center. I saw Michael and Emma's figures disappearing into the hospital entrance. My legs were shaking. The hospital's automatic doors opened and closed, the sound reaching me from far away. I stood frozen in the parking lot, unable to move my feet. St. Mary's Hospital, Oncology Department. Those words burned into my eyes. Cancer Center. Who was sick? Michael? Or Emma? But both had seemed fine. They'd been acting normal every day. They had appetite, their complexions hadn't been bad. I took a deep breath and started walking toward the hospital entrance. My legs were trembling. The automatic doors opened. Cold air hit my face. The lobby was spacious, surrounded by white walls. Several nurses were at reception, and people who appeared to be patients and their families sat in the waiting area. I approached reception, then stopped. What should I ask? Saying I'm looking for my husband and daughter would sound strange. I saw Michael's back in the hallway leading to the elevator. Emma was walking beside him. Both had heavy steps. I followed at a distance. I didn't have the courage to get on the elevator. I used the stairs, heading to the floor where they'd gone. 3rd floor. I saw a sign for the palliative care ward. The hallway was quiet. Only the sound of my heartbeat seemed unusually loud. I saw Michael and Emma enter a room at the end of the hall. Room 305. I slowly approached. The door had a small window. Looking through it, my breath stopped. A woman lying in bed. An emaciated body. 4 tubes. An oxygen mask. Afternoon light gently streamed through the window onto the bed. Emma sat beside the bed, holding the woman's hand. Her small shoulders were shaking. She was crying. I came again. Were you waiting? I heard Emma's voice through the door. The woman nodded weakly. A raspy voice came from under the mask. Emma. My precious Emma. Michael placed his hand on the woman's forehead. A natural gesture, as if from years of habit. How are you feeling? Any better than yesterday? Yes. I can keep going because you come to see me. The woman's voice was weak but warm. I couldn't look away from the window. Who was this woman? Why were Michael and Emma so familiar with her? Emma pressed the woman's hand to her cheek. Is Mom doing well? Rachel, Mom. Hearing my name, my heart jumped. She's fine. She's always kind to me as usual. Emma's voice trembled with tears. Good. You have Rachel. Even without me, you'll be okay. At the woman's words, tears spilled from my eyes. This woman was Emma's biological mother. Michael's ex-wife. But why was she in this condition? And why hadn't they told me anything? Michael sat in a chair by the window. Claire, don't push yourself. Aren't you tired today? Claire. The moment I heard that name, the world stopped. Claire. My sister's name. But surely not. My sister, who'd been out of contact for over 15 years, was Michael's ex-wife. That couldn't be. It was just a coincidence. Lots of people had the same name. The woman slowly turned her face sideways. The window's light illuminated her face. I stood frozen. No words came out. That face was my sister's face from 15 years ago. Thin, weakened by illness, but unmistakably my sister. My knees nearly buckled. I pressed my hand against the wall, barely staying upright. This was a dream. It had to be a bad dream. My sister was Michael's ex-wife. Emma's biological mother. And now, dying of cancer. In my mind, all the puzzle pieces were fitting together. 15 years ago, my sister had gotten pregnant and left home. That child was Emma. She'd married Michael. And after the divorce, my sister had disappeared. But Emma had stayed with Michael. 3 years ago, I'd met Michael. Fallen in love, married. Become Emma's stepmother. But I hadn't known that Emma's biological mother was my own sister. Did Michael know that I was Claire's sister? No, he couldn't have known. I'd used my maiden name, and I'd never talked about my sister. A coincidence. A terrible coincidence. Inside the room, Claire coughed. Michael immediately offered water. Emma watched with concern. I'm okay, I'm okay. Claire smiled weakly. Emma, tell me about school. Are your friends well? Yeah. Jessica's having a birthday party. I'm invited too. That's wonderful. Enjoy it. But a birthday without you. Emma's voice caught. Claire stroked Emma's hair. It's okay. I'm always with you. In your heart. Michael stood up and looked out the window. I quickly hid. But he was just looking at the scenery. Claire, what did the doctor say? A long silence. That I don't have much time left. Hearing those words, I covered my mouth with my hand. Emma started crying. No. I want to stay with you longer. I still have so much I want to talk about. Me too, Emma. But you know, I have no regrets. I was blessed with you as a daughter, I have Michael as a father for you, and now you have Rachel as a wonderful mother. You're going to be happy. Claire's voice was weak but full of conviction. But I want to see you. More and more. Me too. That's why Dad brings you to me. Without Rachel knowing. Because I don't want to hurt her. I leaned my back against the hallway wall. Tears wouldn't stop. Michael had been hiding it to avoid hurting me. Emma was suffering between two mothers. And Claire. My sister was facing death, wanting to see her daughter. I didn't know what I should do. Should I go home like this? Or should I go in and reveal everything? Just then, the room door opened. A doctor in a white coat entered. I quickly hid around a nearby corner. Bennett family, I need to talk with you. I heard the doctor's voice. Miss Claire's condition is deteriorating faster than expected. Her kidney failure is progressing, and dialysis alone has reached its limit. What does that mean? Michael's voice was shaking. Without a donor, probably a few weeks, possibly sooner. Donor? Kidney transplant? Yes. But finding a compatible donor is difficult. Especially in Claire's case, with her rare blood type. Emma was crying. Claire tried to say something, but no sound came out. The doctor continued. Among blood relatives, is there anyone compatible? Siblings, parents? Her parents have passed away. Siblings. Claire's weak voice. I have a sister. But I haven't contacted her in over 15 years. I don't even know where she is. In the corner of the hallway, I bit my lip. Sister. She meant me. The doctor said, if you can reach her, I recommend testing. Siblings have a high compatibility rate. The room fell silent. I stepped out from the corner. It wasn't time to hide anymore. I knocked on the door. Everyone in the room turned around. Michael's face went pale. Emma's eyes widened. Claire said in a faint voice. Rachel. I entered the room. Tears blurred my vision. I'm sorry. I overheard. Then I approached the bed and took my sister's hand. Tears spilled from her eyes. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I shook my head. Don't apologize. That's not what matters right now. The doctor looked at us in surprise. Michael stood up from his chair. Emma looked back and forth between my sister and me with a confused expression. Please test me, to see if I can be her donor. The air in the hospital room froze. The doctor stared at me. Michael stood still. Emma looked at me with confusion. And my sister in the bed was shaking her head, tears streaming down her face. No. Rachel, I can't trouble you. My sister's weak voice echoed in the quiet room. I don't think of it as trouble. Still holding my sister's hand, I looked at the doctor. What's your name? The doctor asked gently. Rachel Bennett. Claire's sister. I understand, Mrs. Bennett. Let's start with blood tests. However, there's no guarantee of compatibility, and the surgery carries risks. I understand. Michael placed his hand on my shoulder. Rachel, are you sure about this? I never intended to ask this of you. I looked up at him. My husband's eyes wavered with guilt and confusion. Michael, will you explain? Everything. The doctor left the room. Emma sat in her chair, making herself small. I took a deep breath and waited for answers. Michael stood by the window, staring outside. 5 years ago, I met Claire. She was raising her daughter alone. We fell in love and married. But the marriage didn't last long. My work was too demanding, I couldn't make time for her. We divorced after 2 years. My sister nodded slightly in bed. It was my fault. I can't blame Michael. But I asked him to make Emma happy, at least. Michael continued. After the divorce, Claire disappeared. She'd promised to visit Emma occasionally, but contact was lost. I ended up raising Emma alone. And then you met me. My voice trembled. Yes. 3 years ago, I met you, and my life changed. You were a wonderful woman, and you were kind to Emma. When I decided to marry you, I was truly happy. But you didn't know I was Claire's sister. Michael turned around. I didn't know. You used your maiden name, Miller, and didn't talk much about your family. Claire's maiden name was Smith. Her surname changed with marriage, so I never imagined a connection. I looked at my sister. When did you realize? My sister smiled weakly. When I saw your wedding photo. Michael had posted it on social media. You were there. I couldn't believe it. My ex-husband had married my sister. Why didn't you say anything? I couldn't. You looked so happy. Emma had a new mom. I couldn't appear and destroy everything. Tears spilled from my eyes. But then you got sick. My sister nodded. I was diagnosed a year ago. At first I thought treatment would be fine. But it got worse. The kidney failure progressed, and they told me I didn't have much time. Emma stood up and rushed to my sister's bedside. So you contacted Dad? 3 months ago. I wanted to see Emma. Before I died, I wanted to see my daughter one more time. Michael sighed deeply. When Claire contacted me, I was surprised. But I was even more surprised when I learned she was your sister. You talked about me? Yes. Claire told me. That 15 years ago, she got pregnant and left home. That she'd become estranged from her family. And that she had a sister named Rachel. I collapsed into a chair. My head was spinning. Why didn't you tell me? Michael knelt in front of me. I didn't want to hurt you. Claire felt the same way. You'd suffered over family matters. We didn't want to dig that up. But you were lying. Both of you. I'm sorry, Rachel. I'm truly sorry. Emma came to my side. Small hands grasped mine. Mom, I'm sorry. I lied too. I skipped school to come see Claire. I hugged Emma. Emma, you're not wrong. It's natural to want to see your mother. But you're my mom too. I didn't want to make you sad. I stroked Emma's hair. How much had this child suffered? How much had her heart ached, caught between two mothers? My sister coughed. Michael immediately offered water. Rachel. My sister looked at me. Please. Don't become a donor. You have your own life. You don't need to sacrifice yourself for me. I shook my head. I don't think of it as a sacrifice. We've been apart for 15 years. But we're connected by blood. And more than that. I looked at Emma. For Emma's sake. Because you're Emma's mother. Large tears fell from my sister's eyes. But I betrayed you. 15 years ago, I abandoned the family. And now, it's like I've taken your husband and daughter. You haven't taken anything. Michael and Emma loved you. And they still do. That's a beautiful thing. Michael stood up. Rachel, are you really sure? Surgery is dangerous. You'd be risking your life. I looked up at my husband. For 15 years, I couldn't forgive my sister. The sister who left home, who abandoned me. But now I understand. My sister was fighting alone. Raising her daughter without depending on anyone. And now, even facing death, she's trying not to trouble me. I stood up and approached my sister's bed. Let me atone. For not searching for you for 15 years. For not supporting you as family. My sister gripped my hand. It was surprisingly cold and weak. Rachel, you've done nothing wrong. But I don't want regrets. I don't want to lose family ever again. Emma hugged both of us. Please, my moms. Don't be apart anymore. Michael watched us. Tears glistened in his eyes too. That day, I had blood tests done. They said results would take a week. That week was the longest week of my life. At home, I talked with Michael and Emma. Now that all secrets were revealed, we had to build a new relationship. Emma honestly told me about skipping school. Seeing Claire weaken was painful, but she wanted to see her. She felt crushed by guilt and sadness. Michael spoke of the suffering of continuing to lie. He'd wanted to protect his wife and daughter. But how heavy carrying secrets had been. And I talked about what was in my heart. Complex feelings about my sister. Hatred and love. Regret and hope. A week later, the phone rang. Mrs. Bennett, we have your test results. I heard the doctor's voice. Perfect match. You're the ideal donor for Claire. I gripped the phone. Michael and Emma looked at me with tense faces. Let's schedule the surgery. I smiled. Yes, please. After hanging up, Emma threw her arms around me. Mom, thank you. Thank you so much. Michael embraced us both. Rachel, you're truly strong. An amazing woman. I looked at them both. We're family. Family fights for each other, right? That evening, we went to the hospital. To tell my sister the good news. When we opened the hospital room door, my sister looked at us and smiled. She seemed a bit healthier than before. Maybe hope was giving her strength. I took my sister's hand. I'm compatible. My sister's eyes opened wide. Then tears overflowed. The surgery is in 2 weeks. Until then, hang in there. My sister nodded repeatedly. Wordless gratitude overflowed in her eyes. Emma held my sister's other hand. Claire, Mom's going to help you. It's going to be okay now. My sister smiled weakly. I have the most wonderful family in the world. Michael placed his hand on my shoulder. Yes, that's right. I looked out the window. The twilight sky was dyed orange. The new story beginning. It might not be an easy path. But we were together. Family connected by blood, family connected by love. And I decided to cherish both. The surgery was successful. When I woke up, Michael and Emma were in the hospital room. Seeing their relieved faces, I smiled. My body hurt, but my heart was light. Claire. The surgery was perfect, the doctor said. If Claire's body accepts the kidney, she can recover. Michael held my hand. Thank you, Rachel. You're a lifesaver. Emma kissed my cheek. Mom, I love you. Those words worked better than any painkiller. 3 days later, I visited Claire's room in a wheelchair. My sister was sitting up in bed, with much better color than before. Rachel. My sister looked at me, crying. I don't know what to say. Thank you doesn't feel like enough. We're family. I just did what was natural. My sister held my hand. It wasn't cold anymore. It was warm. For 15 years, I regretted it. I wanted to see you. But I couldn't. I didn't know how to face you. Me too. I always regretted not searching for you. We embraced as sisters. 15 years of tears overflowed. 6 months later. 4 people sat at our dining table. Michael, Emma, Claire, and me. Claire had been discharged from the rehabilitation facility and was living in a nearby apartment. She wasn't completely recovered, but the weak figure from before was gone. This roast chicken is delicious. Claire said with a smile. Rachel made it. Amazing, right? Emma said proudly. I looked at them both and felt happiness. Emma now had 2 mothers. It might be complicated, but it was full of love. Claire, can you come to Emma's birthday party next month? Michael asked. Of course. I'll definitely be there. Emma smiled happily. Celebrating my birthday with both my moms is the best. After dinner, Claire and I stood in the kitchen together. My sister washed dishes while I dried. It was like being children again. Rachel, you're stronger than me. Claire said quietly. Why? Because you accepted your ex-husband's ex-wife, and even saved her life. Ordinary people couldn't do that. I shook my head. I'm not special. I just did the right thing. But you forgave me. That makes me happiest of all. I placed my hand on my sister's shoulder. Family isn't just about blood ties. But even with blood ties, sometimes you can't forgive. Still, you can choose to forgive for the sake of those you love. I think that's the true strength of family. My sister wiped her tears. Thank you. From the living room, we could hear Emma and Michael laughing. We're not a perfect family. It's complicated, sometimes difficult. But there's love. There's forgiveness. And there's hope. Claire joins us for dinner at our house once a month. Emma sometimes visits Claire's apartment on weekends. Claire and I are gradually rebuilding our sisterly relationship. Last week, Emma gave a presentation at school. An assignment about family. I have 2 moms. One mom gave birth to me. The other mom is raising me. They both love me. I think I'm the happiest kid in the world. When I heard that story, I cried. Happy tears. Now I stand by the window, looking at the yard. Michael's mowing the lawn, Emma's doing homework. A message from Claire arrived, confirming next week's dinner. What is family? Blood ties, or time spent together? Love, or responsibility? I think the answer is all of those. And more. Forgiving, accepting, and moving forward together. Our story might not be a perfect happy ending. But this is a real family story. Hurt, forgiven, loved. And living together again tomorrow. I smiled and returned to the kitchen. I had to prepare tonight's dinner. Family was waiting.